Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here. Confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. Have you ever walked into a setting where the loudest person in the room is being that way because they have so many insecurities they can't be quiet? Well, tonight's guest is such a treat. She is an amazing woman located in the Bahamas. I will not steal her thunder. And we're glad you're here at the Bren Harris podcast, episode 116. I can't believe it either. My name is Bren Harris. And I founded Warrior Moms by Bren when my son was medically injured at 22 months of age. He was just a baby. And we've walked through hell these last 12 years. And now we walk back and take water back to those still in the fire, because we know that when we lock arms with others, that we are stronger together. Now, I had the opportunity to meet this amazing young woman in a mastermind, and I'm all about, personal development, all those things. And what I'm learning is that if I will back up and observe, that I learn 10 times more. Now, if you're just joining us, let us know in the chat where you're logging in from. And if you threw a dart at the US, I'm right in the middle, Oklahoma. And today was a hot one today here. And I've got a little humidity going on with this hair. And we know that just because we're located all across the globe doesn't mean we can't come together and form community. And if anything, these last 5 years have taught us with the pandemic and everything that's happened is that, you know what? We're not isolating. We're reaching out, we're locking arms, and we're making sure that we are stronger together. Now, I'm so glad you are here. And we are going to jump right in, and we're going to invite our guest in. And I want you to really, really listen. She is a remarkable human and is always leading others to what matters. All right. So hang on. We're going to bring her on. Hey, Marianne, did you make the live stream?
Yes, I did.
Oh, so glad you're here. Can you let our community of Warrior Moms and the Warrior Nation let us know, who is Marianne Cadet?
Well, my name is Marianne Cadet, like Bren said, and thank you, Bren, for that great introduction. I was born in the Bahamas of Haitian parents who were migrated here. Um, Besides my professional labels, etc., I would describe Marianne as someone who is very determined. I love people. I love my family. I love friends. I love helping people. And I'm an advocate for justice. Hence, my career, I am a public defender and I specialize in criminal defense. I'm also an aspiring author and a transformation coach and a podcaster. I love to travel and meet diverse people. So that's just a little bit about who Marianne is.
Oh, I love it. Now, did you guys catch that? She's a lawyer in the Bahamas, a public defender in criminal defense.
Yes.
And you seem so calm. And I love that about you. And I noticed that the first time that we ever worked together. You have such a presence. And when this is called the month of the Warrior Mom for the Warrior Nation, and we love one of the first things that I want to bring to your attention. Hey, tribe, warriors, hear me. Marianne is the real deal, and she helps people. She is a matriarch of her family. Now, you live in the Bahamas of Haitian descent. Can you
Mhm.
let's roll back the clock a little bit? Can you tell us, how did you wake up as a child and say, I'm going to be a lawyer? Or how did that come about?
Okay, well, sometime around probably in second grade, I made that decision. Um, At first, I wanted to be a police officer, so justice was always something that I felt led to. And I saw something on television where the police officer could not assist like he should. And I saw an attorney that was able to assist this person who really needed a defense attorney. And so from early on, that was the start. And I decided I was going to be a defense attorney from there.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's how we are influenced as children to choose our path. Now, do you have a mission statement for what you're doing through your podcast in addition to your career?
Well, my mission statement is that I help people move from being enchained to liberty so that they can live their best life without asking for permission. And with that, I've had that experience from an early point in my life as a child, that also influenced me to become an attorney. Um, Having faced rejection at an early age, it made me
Mm.
want to speak for people, and so that's what pushed me into being an advocate, speaking for persons who cannot speak for themselves.
Wow. Now, do I have your permission to take that a little deeper here?
Sure.
I would love to ask, let's think back to where you
Mhm.
experienced that rejection. What was your life like before that? And
Well, I
how
was
did
a
that
normal child.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was a normal child, but continue ask your questions so I could answer it fully. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, before I have a before and after when I have
Mhm.
that crossroads, before the rejection, after the rejection, and how did that shape your path now?
So before the rejection, I was just a normal child. I didn't think about nationalities, etc. I just thought myself as a normal kid, happy, very had a very big imagination. I'm just full of, hope, just a normal kid.
Mhm.
And what occurred is that while I think I was in the second grade, me and my friend, we were running, racing, and then I heard a teacher say, "Don't let that Haitian girl beat you." And I normally joke with persons and say, that's my first time asking, like, I'm Haitian. Like, wow, I didn't even think about it, but that was the first time that it sounded like being a Haitian was a bad thing, or
Right.
why couldn't me as a Haitian child win?
Mm. Right.
And so, I did not stop what I was doing. We continued racing and everything, but it did have an impact on me immediately because those were the questions I started to ask. And the
Mhm.
question was really, why can't I win? And
Right.
so I had to decide, you know, is this true? I had to challenge the thought that
Mhm.
approached me. And but even though I decided, I should win, I deserve to win, this is something that went with me. I still had
Mhm.
certain questions. I felt like I've overcome a lot, to get to where I'm at. However, the residue of that was still there. And so that's
Mm.
something that pushed me into self development. Why it was that, I didn't want to be in the limelight. Like my career, my life, my upbringing, everything brought me into the spotlight. Despite the fact that I would have run from it, everything brought
Mhm.
me into it. And so I had to ask myself, why am I so uncomfortable? And so that brought me to self development, and I started to ask the right right questions, which brought me to look into the past trauma. And so that's what I did with that. And how did it help me afterwards? Investigating, right? The
Mm-hmm.
trauma,
Mm-hmm.
it helped me to analyze why did I behave the way that I did. You know, why was I feeling like, I was in a box? I was limiting myself, by labels, etc. And so, a lot of times as persons, we don't know. We've never really investigated why do we act the way we do? Why do we think the way
Mm-hmm.
that we do? And it would help with any like limiting beliefs. Um, it would help you to get unstuck and propel you into where you need to go. And so that's what started me into going deeper into self development and meeting, you know, Darren, and then, coming into
Mm-hmm.
this master class and then becoming a podcaster. But, I was running away because I did not deal with the past trauma.
Wow, that is so powerful. And thank you for letting us take a peek behind the curtain.
Hmm.
Everyone has a story. I love how you've learned and acquired the ability to articulate your story.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're using theory to application when you mentioned your transformation statement. Now,
Hmm.
I love that you are so solid and so sure of your calling. Have you always been that way, or is that a recent development?
Well, I always knew that I always wanted to help people. I thought that my help was only in the area of law, but
Mhm.
I realized there are more areas I can help persons with my past experience. But I've always, if I looked deep down and look into my past, I've always tried to help persons with experiences that I had, whether it was, coming from not an affluent
Mhm.
background and still achieving, just encouraging others that they too can achieve and taking steps or, just overcoming certain situations. I've always tried to tell someone that you can do it. So that was always something that I did prior to realizing,
Mhm.
okay, you know what, I need to speak to more people so I could help more persons.
Right. Right. And I love that. You have a platform, you have a
Mhm.
purpose, and you have a voice. What's one thing? It sounds like, if I can reflect this back, it
Mhm.
sounds like second grade was a really pivotal time for you.
It was. It was. I don't regret it at all because it made me who I am. And, based on what I experienced, I can help others because rejection is something that all of us
Mhm.
face. And by digging deep into that, I was able to really study like rejection and to
Mhm.
understand that rejection is okay because we also reject things. To accept,
Right.
we also have to reject. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You don't have to internalize that rejection, and you
Mhm.
can still um, be successful. And I don't want persons to dim their light. I want persons to let their light shine. And so that was my experience in second grade that helped me to become who I am. And I'm going to do my best to help others with that.
And I am seeing that. You guys, please check out her podcast. She's on Facebook and Instagram, and really, I think of it like maybe an onion, where we're peeling back really thin layers and addressing those past hurts and rejections. And you take such a beautiful perspective. and it's easy to apply. So please continue to do so. What I'm going to ask a little bit off the beaten path.
Mhm.
I know that you are a full-time attorney and you are a podcaster, and I heard that you're an author. You're working
Yes.
on a book. Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing a little bit about that?
Okay. The book is called Hidden for Those Who Have Been Rejected. And in that book, I encourage persons who are still dealing with the trauma of rejection, or who may not even know that they're dealing with the trauma of rejection, to go on a self journey, investigate why you act the way that you do, you behave the
Mhm.
way that you do. There are things that we do not like or we want to change, but we need to find out where's the root. And I feel like when you can understand the root of it, you can start the healing process so that you can change the situation. And I just, in the book, give persons tips on how to look at rejection in a different way. And if perhaps you haven't faced rejection before and you get an opportunity to read the book, it helps you to how to navigate through that and still be successful, still show up authentically yourself, and
Mhm.
still shine. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Now, we know that you have social media. Please remind us what those two platforms are. And also let us know when your next podcast is.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook, Marianne. That's Marianne. Cadet is the last name, CADT. And then you can find me on Instagram, marianne.m.cadet. And I do have a podcast. It's going to be on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, and also on Instagram.
Oh, that's great. You guys, please check out her work. And thank you, Marianne, for all that you do and how you take such great care of the people in your life.
Thank you, Bren. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Be blessed.
Thank you, Bren.
Hey guys, I am so glad that you are sharing your Tuesday evening with us. And please check out the other videos. We have had some amazing guests on. Now, if you're on the live, put an L. If you're on the replay, put an R. And if you got value from Marianne's story, please let us know. Now, for those who may not know, my name is Bren. I have been on a journey with the Warrior Nation when my son was medically injured. And I have also been working on a book, and I would love to share some of that with you in a dedicated podcast. And tomorrow, I am releasing on social media the best-selling author pictures, and I will let you guys choose. We will do a contest and a poll. So please be looking at the social feeds at One with Bren and Bren Harris on Facebook, at One with Bren on IG. And please reach out to Marianne and let her know that you are thankful that she took time away from her career and her busy life to share and encourage all of us. Please let me know if you have any questions, and know that the Warrior Nation is your source for truth, transparency, and trust. Warriors, unite.